two generations of brothers making music like this, it's very unique.
Coming from a family of deaf parents, and all of a sudden they get some children that, wow, they're musically talented. It's blossomed. It's really special now. I think it says a lot to who we are, what we've learned, and the legacy we leave behind.
My name is David Ullman, and you just heard the voices of my brother Brian, my dad Jim, and his brother Jack. Together, we are the Ullman Boys, and in this conversation you'll hear us going track by track through our first studio recording collection, the newly released Family album. We'll be reminiscing about the stories surrounding the song selections, the recording sessions, and the inspirations for the project. You can find Family Album wherever you get your digital music, your Apple, your Amazon, your Spotify, YouTube, iHeartMusic, something called Deezer, I think. You can also stream and download the collection for free on dreamingoutloudrecords.com. This is our 50th Dreaming Out Loud music release, spanning over 20 years, and in some ways, this Family album was almost 60 years in the making. I spoke to the other 3 members of the band from my home in Minnesota, where I've lived for the last 10 years with my wife and 2 dogs. Dad, Jack, and Brian, as well as the family Shih Tzus, Emma and Sophia, were all together in Rittman, Ohio in the house where we all grew up. And despite the sentimental sound bites I chose for the intro, we also have a lot of laughs. Maybe because we were a little punchy from talking for 2 solid hours prior to what I include here. I hope you're half as delighted by this talk as we were.
What you're hearing in that is doing it the right way, but we also got a piccolo drum.
Yeah,
the piccolo was very important to that.
The piccolo snare.
Right. It was very important to that particular song to make it sound right.
Yep.
And that's one of the things of being with Brian that we've all learned, is that there's little niches inside of a song that gives it a certain tone, gives it a certain vibe, that when you're listening to it, you don't hear those things. But when you got somebody who can hear that, says, that's not that. We got to go with the piccolo snare. Or, we can do this with the bongo. We can do this with the...
Yeah, I was trying different ways. Right, I was pitching snares up, and I was trying to find ways to get that sound. And I was researching the band playing it live. And eventually, I guess I found out it was piccolo drum. But Jack's like, tomorrow. It's coming tomorrow. It's like, no, we're getting the piccolo drum. It's coming tomorrow. Like, yeah, let's go.
Went with it.
And it's the sound of the song. They would call it maybe sometimes an auxiliary drum. But it's a smaller snare drum with no snares on the bottom. Oh. So we turn the snares on the bottom off, and then Jack just lets loose on it, and it's just running.
It does have that running, yeah. And live Bono sometimes, depending on the stage setup, there's one stage setup they had which was like a circle, and he would just run laps.
That's what I feel like doing.
Yeah. We've run into this while we've done these recordings, that brought this illustration to me that it's one thing to sit down and do these things with people and let the producer, let the recording engineers, let them do their thing. Let them shine in their gifting. You don't have that gift. They have the gift. And the illustration that came to me was that we've had situations where the crayons tell, the artist how to make the picture. And crayons are there to help develop the picture in color and life and vibrancy. But the guy the picture is his. It's the recording engineer. It's the producers. It's their picture. It's their ears, their sound that make it what it is. If Brian didn't have the ears and the skill set, and you didn't have your skill set and the things you do, these things couldn't be.
Yeah.
But we've had crayons tell the artist how to do it, how to paint the picture. Crayons don't do that. Crayons do what the artist wants them to do.
Yeah. And that's so true, because even like early mixes and stuff I would hear of the U2 songs, or when I would just hear my raw thing, I would be like, well, I know this is like the best I can do, or the best I was able to do before my voice went. Or I'd come back to it a week later and I'm just like, all right, this is as good as I can get it. But I was so amazed, like the way that Brian the way that he would incorporate my feedback and the way that he mixed it all and treated it and used his crayons.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that phrase. What can you tell me about putting hair on the bear?
I was going to say that. One of the things that we've noticed is through this whole time of the details that both of you guys have. And I told him, I said, and you should change the name of the recording industry. It should be Hair on the Bear Productions, because Brian has always saw the detail with his ears. You see it with your eyes, and with all the visual things that you have control over. He has the ears, and just to put it down in posterity, in school, we remember it was about third grade when we went into the classroom homeroom for what do they call it?
Parent-teacher conferences.
Yeah, parent-teacher conferences, and they had a picture.
I know, because
everybody did their drawings, and they're showing off the drawings that the kids did. Yeah, this is what Billy did when he was here, and when we got to Brian, they're going to tell us what they're going to tell us, whatever. But she said, well, I can't really show you what Brian has done. And Sarah and I kind of looked at each other and said, I just let it go. But, she was concerned. Why? What did Brian do? Because it's always, if you don't hear him, you need to find out what he's doing. And so we had that kind of look, and she went and said, but I'll show you what he's done. And it was a picture of the bear. And he didn't have time to finish the picture. And then we found out the reason why he didn't have time to finish the picture, he was putting on each hair one at a time. He wanted to see the detail of the hair on the bear. I said, oh, man, Hair on the Bear. Hair on the Bear Productions. That's what he does. So he can hear these things. And he's made us all sound so much better than what we are because of the detail with his ears. You don't buy that.
I was going to tell you a story, and we don't have Jack with us, so it's edited out. But one of our great stories, and he knows this, he can chime in when he gets back. But during Jack and Diane, he was reading off his sheet off the internet. He printed off a sheet off the internet with chords and whatever, and he was playing off that, and he kept staring at his sheet. And I ripped the sheet out of his paper. I said, "Fuck your paper!" I was like, "Fuck your paper!" It's like, listen. You're not listening. Fuck your paper. And then Jack just laughed, and he played the guitar part right. And because of that, he's on Jack and Diane because he got that right. Mm-hmm. But I challenged him to get it right. I was like, "You're not doing it right." And he kept staring at his paper. I was like, "Fuck your paper." Yeah. And he still laughs about "fuck your paper." And what really cracks me up, about the end of the day, as he picked his paper up off the ground. It's like, I thought you got the point. Like, but no, real story with Jack and Diane. But no, his guitar is on Jack and Diane, and it's going to be on the Beatles. And but I will challenge them to make sure it's for posterity and make sure that it's the best you can do, like your vocals, and and then it's on me, to make it better. And then you guys trust me, which allows me to get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
The nice thing is, all these songs
I just told him about "fuck your
we
paper."
played.
Fuck your paper. That's what I'm saying. You guys give me ability,
Right.
You guys trust in me. Now, I've challenged you,
Right,
to give me what I've asked for. Now
there we go.
Just now it's on me. But I'm hard on you guys, and I'm hard on me, and
Yeah, they call it producing for a reason. I mean, you produce the best results from the people that you're working with, and yeah, I mean, you've been great at that for at least 20 years now.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
People don't realize it's 20 years. This is 20 years of learning, experience, expertise, and it's both visual as well as audio.
Yeah, the whole in the spiritual, and honestly, without your guys's allowance to trust me to do the best I can, I couldn't do what I do. So honestly, all three of you give me the ability to try to reach my ability. And it's because of that, we have what we have. Because of that, we have the projects that we have. And there's times when I wish I could do better, and there's times I'm happy with what we did. And,
I'm telling you, the new stuff that's coming out on the next album is so good. I'm shocked.
All right.
But I was shocked when I can honestly say it's the first time that I ever teared up when I heard the U2 song. That was such a dream, but I never thought we could do it that well. But yeah, he fixed that up it just brought tears.
Wow.
We've come a long ways with it and having fun doing it.
Yeah.
This has been a Dreaming Out Loud Records and Hair on the Bear production. It was produced and edited by me, David Ullman. I recorded myself here in Minnesota, and my brother Brian recorded himself, Jim, and Jack in Ohio, both for the interview and, of course, all the music as well. And speaking of the music, you can find Family Album by the Ullman Boys on Apple, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube, and of course, for free at dreamingoutloudrecords.com. For more of the story, including photos, videos, countless links to the related projects mentioned, and the collected 7-part blog series recounting the family music history leading up to this moment, head over to davidallman.net/familyalbum. Thank you to my brother, my uncle, and my dad for sharing their time and memories with me, and thank you to you for taking an interest in us.